Say wow, let's enjoy some fun conversation. We'll be shooting the shelf around the nation. Let's start shooting the shelf.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Shooting the Shelf. I'm Jesse Arnold, and with me over here, who I pointed the right way without thinking about it, is my buddy, my ride or die, Curtis Akerman. How's it going tonight, Curtis?
I'm doing excellent. I appreciate the fact that I jumped on, beforehand, before the show, about, 10, 15 minutes beforehand, and you were already here, putting in the work, getting ready for the show. You didn't just show up as the intro was rolling and kind of leave me hanging to do all the prep work. So I just want to say that I appreciate that, because some people, Joe Gonzalez, doesn't work that way. So yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you need a lozenge? You had a little cough there.
Nah, that's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
It's just a little mustache stuck in my throat. So get the tires and light the fires.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I think it's like Puerto Rico Day or something. You know what that means?
Is it?
I think so. That's what I heard over on Latin Legions, but I don't know. I mean, it's Latin Legions, so it could be Puerto Rico Day every day. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
You
can Google
National Puerto Rican Day Parade.
Yeah. There you go.
Well,
see, I learned something over on Latin Legions. So
there you go.
Whippa!
Well, speaking of G out there in the chat, Curtis, why don't you tell us who we got hanging out with us tonight?
All right. We got Crom 316 says hello, and happy Sunday. So we got Jeremy Govier, who left some Warlock out here with the Purple Hearts, JMax77, Blake, aka Recon Rage, aka the star of OffWorld now. It is new and improved OffWorld with 100% more rage, aka Recon Rage. So Brian Lynn of Carver Customs, his wife Stacy Lynn was just over on Latin Legions. They may still be going, I don't know. But the ladies were on over there. Dave Orkin, his wife was supposed to be on Latin Legions, but I don't think she made it back from 5 points in time. But Dub3 is in the house. He says hello. We got Cincy John here. Brian Carr. We got Darla Akerman. I know her. I am Williams. I am T Williams. I'm J Williams. I'm not sure what's silent anymore. I thought it was just the H. Let us know in the chat, Williams person. James Studio Samudio. Samudio. We got second Jesse. Guaisagüe Echevarria is in the chat. Let's see. We got Jen Sayak, aka Lucky Sprinkles. Twizzlers 19. Forget all those other first 18 Twizzlers. That they got nothing. Twizzler 19 though is here. We got Nate Strong in the house. Nate Strong, if you have Trevor Williams' phone number, Purple Gang would love to have it, and I think they'd be willing to trade for it. So my understanding is Van has like 50 boxes full of Legions figures. So there is a trade to be made. So hit up Purple Gang if you've got that phone number. Let's see. More Blake. He gives us a whippa. Hulessa Warlock says OffWorld had a fraction of the rage that Clubhouse had last night. Clubhouse was wild last night, folks. Normally I would say go and watch it, but I don't know. Mark Rivera is here. We got Kevin McCoy. His wife was also over on Latin Legions. Not sure if they're still going. Santos Rivera is here. And yeah. Oh, who left some more? Like says he already has the number, but he's also a keeper of secrets. So, and V-Dog is here. We give V-Dog a, there we go. That's what I was looking for. You knew you were reading my mind. We call that purple brain.
So, yeah, some people do.
No, we do. Speaking of purple brain, let me just pull this up real quick. Let's see. Open image and new tab. Yeah, this purple brain right there. So, what do you know about this guy?
That's a thing that's coming from the toy place.
Yeah, the toy place. Toy place is doing good. They get some good stuff going on. Support purple, folks.
I'd call that more pink brain, but
well, the brain is pink, but he's wearing purple. He's a purple armored guy that's also a brain dude.
Yes.
So,
no, this is the new I'm sure we'll talk about this at some point during the show tonight, but this is the new Infinite Legions. One of 2 new figures you can pre-order now over on storehorseman.com.
There you go.
In conjunction with the Onel Glios design folks.
Yeah. So we're going to call him. I know they said his name's like Thanos or Infinite Gauntlet, or I don't know what his name is, but we're calling him Purple Brain.
Okay.
Yeah. So
speaking of Purple Brain, this has nothing to do with Purple Brain. We've got a guest tonight. We don't have a guest or two, which I know is your favorite, just because it's in the song and you like it when the words in the song match what we do on the show.
What if our guest has multiple names? Does that count?
He does. So, folks, let's give a warm digital welcome and round of applause to the one and only Ogre John.
Hello.
How's it going?
Thank you for having me on.
Good to have that applause built in now.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't loop around for 5 minutes while you're going, why
I made sure
it keep doing that?
I turned it off before I hit the first sound.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here, John. At the start of the show, we do a little thing called shelf selections, where Jesse and I have selected some photos during the week that inspired us, so that we can, inspire others, and we can show off some really cool Instagram accounts and get people to make their Instagram that much cooler. So here we go. Starting off is one of mine. I was actually sent this, I believe, by Dub3. This is on Golden Panda Babe Baba. On Golden Panda Baba.
It's Walrus Man from Star Wars.
Yeah, Ponda Baba. Dr. Evansing's buddy.
It's the thing on the top of the screen there. And then another one, which is geeked_out_click. So those two guys there. Put this shot together. Use a little skeleton, little Legion Builder skeleton with a lightsaber, and then the Star Wars characters in the background. I thought this was a lot of fun. I thought there's a good mixing of lines, a good setup, in terms of like the floor and the background and stuff. I like the blurred background so that you're really focusing on the skeleton and the lightsaber. So yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. We get a literal, some literal skeleton crew action in this shot. It's a lot of fun. For what the show was, I enjoyed it. And this shot, captures the vibe and energy of that show. This is really good. I like the not forced perspective, but the focus on the skeleton and the blurry, the further back. Yeah, this is really nice.
Yep. John?
Yeah, man. I think it's really cool. It definitely tells a story, right? Like, I think any good shot tells a story. And whether you're just seeing this or you've watched Skeleton Crew, like you definitely get a great sense of the story they're trying to tell. And I would say that's probably going to be the coolest use of those Star Wars figures ever.
The skeleton being near the lightsaber, I think probably what happened is like that scene with Luke in New Hope where he kind of looks down the barrel of it, you know, and it just like went off. That's my guess is what happened here. So, and then years later they found it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Did want to pull this up from the Williams brother. He says he may be all silent now. He doesn't know. So we're just going to call him I Am. So
nope, not doing that. Sorry.
I'll call you I Am.
Is it Will I Am from the Black Eyed Peas?
It could be. We can call him Brother Williams, like he's a priest or a monk.
Speaking of awesome people, Rob Zamora, 14-month member, super chat. Hey John, half of 14 is 7, like 7 seasons. I don't know what that means.
So last night on Purple Gang Gang, there was a little disagreement because, you know, I'm trying to help out Trevor. Trevor's a really big Matlock fan, as most old people are. And I was letting him know that all 9 seasons of Matlock are available on Paramount Plus. But Rob insists that there's only 7 seasons. Now, 2 of the seasons did have less episodes. I think some even may consider it a miniseries, but it still is listed as a season. So there's still technically 9 seasons. And although I cannot read, I can count, and I can at least count up to 9. So, yeah. So there you go. Also, speaking of Trevor, I Am. If you have any embarrassing like childhood pictures, stories, anything that you would be willing to share with myself or Purple Gang Gang, please let us know. We would compensate you accordingly. Thank you. So, and we got a message from Who Less and Warlock. Go ahead, Jesse.
16-month member, half of 16 is 8, and add 1, you get 9 seasons. So there you go.
There you go. 2 of the seasons are silent. All right, next is one of Jesse's.
So this is wait for it. Lego lithography guy. This is I guess one of the newer versions of the Black Falcon characters. I just thought this was really cool. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, said, that getting into Legions, you first start popping them apart. They kind of remind you of Lego a little bit. And I was actually working on a custom today that's inspired by this color scheme. So, and Rob Zamora coming in with a $1.99 super chat. I said, I love you, Curtis. All caps, heart stop, exclamation point.
Yeah, there's a certain emphasis that you have to put on the syllables when they're caps.
No,
like
I don't. I don't.
Well, I love you too, Rob. So thank you. And did you say Black Falcon? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
On this?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that
that was one of the old Lego castle factions. So there was like the King's Knights, and then Black Falcon was like the kind of ones that had the blue and black and white uniforms.
Oh, all right. I'd never heard of that. I really like the emblem with the, kind of the white side and the black side and the bird flip, thing. I like that. I didn't know that they made Legos with soft goods. This is cool. It's funny. I was just watching Latin Legions, and Matt was talking about how he's avoided getting into Glios because he really can't see himself doing toy photography for something that small. So then we flip over here and we see something this small with some nice toy photography with those pillars in the background and everything, like pretty neat. Yeah, I like this. So, John?
Yeah, man. So when I saw this come up, like what it made me think of, like I'm a Lego maniac kid, right? I had tons of these castle sets and everything. And when you're like 7, 8, 9 years old playing with these guys and you're imagining how, this types of scenes they're in, but it's like there's Legos, there's pegs, they're bright colors and stuff, but your imagination looks like this, right? And so I love how it kind of tunes in and captures that imagination that I think a lot of us probably had playing with these same toys growing up. So I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I was not following this account, so now I have followed them. So thank you, Jesse. And this is how would you say that, Jesse?
Legotography guy.
Legotography. Okay, yeah, that is not how I would have said it. I would have said Lego to graph guy. So thank you. Next, one of mine. This is from Darth.Primus, and man, I love this. Anytime you get these recreations of comic book covers, or if somebody just kind of sets up something to where it would look like a comic book cover, I always think it's really neat. And I think this one came out really well. He, doesn't have the whole team there, but enough of the team that this really works. I just thought this was really, really cool.
Yeah, this is great. I love, the figures. I don't think any of those are customized. They're just out of the box figures, right?
I believe that is correct.
And that, it's just the right versions of those costumes for this cover recreation. It looks really great. I love the city background. And I believe that's one of the, extreme sets, like the cardboard fold up 3D diorama things that they're sitting on.
I didn't know they made a city one. That's cool.
Yeah, they have a bunch of building ones that are like 2 stories tall, or they can stack on topop of each other. They're pretty complicated.
Might have to go do
this is cool
purchasing after this. All right. John, thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I like how I think it's probably about as faithful of a recreation of that cover as you're going to get with toys. I think you nailed it, and yeah, I'm not a fan of Titans, but I'm really digging this. So yeah, pretty cool, man.
Why you hating on the Titans?
I'm not hating on them. I was never a DC guy. I was a Marvel guy and then an Image guy. So I've never really read DC that much.
I Am comes in and says, oh, hell no, I'm not putting myself in the 1/6 crosshairs. Probably a good idea.
Are we sure that's not pronounced Iam, like Ian?
Ooh, it might be. Iam.
Like the dog food, like Iams?
Might be.
Yeah, might be. Cat food.
Let us know, Iams.
Yeah, whatever.
Next
Cat
is one of Jesse's.
Cool things I can't have. This is from our buddy Sig's Art and Toys. I just thought this was great. Some pop and swaps and stuff going on with some Legion stuff on the Conibus horse. I love the glow effect. That really dead brush thing behind it is really kind of it's weird. It's kind of acting like a type of camouflage almost, because the colors, they kind of blend in. I just thought that was really neat. And the green kind of like smoke effect coming off the eyes and out of the nose or whatever. It's just like he's literally fueled by like undead magic. This is just a really fun picture. Good job, Sig.
Yeah, I'm just glad that he chose to have the green mist coming out the front. So appreciate that. Good job, Sig. Do we know where the crown is from? Is that just on a skeleton head, or is that a whole head, we think?
I don't know.
If it's a separate crown, I would love to get that. But if it's something where it's just the crown, like on a 3D sculpt that's like on it, then there's a bunch of those. But if anybody knows, let us know in the chat. But yeah, that's cool. I like it. I'm not normally a skeleton guy, but it's cool. I like it. John?
Yeah, man, it's a really cool shot, and I'm really liking the way it's put together with the background and everything. That head, it's too far away for me to really tell if it's a 3D sculpt or not. But yeah, great use of it. Just great framing. Cool picture, man.
Very cool. I'd like to go scroll back in the chat real quick. And Kevin McCoy, I see that Latin Legion's still going on over there with your wife. If you could tell them to wrap it up, that'd be great. Okay. Time slot is over. All right. They're going into our time slot now. So go ahead and wrap that sucker up. All right. Here comes one of mine. This is 1/6 Zane on Instagram. And here's the Mafex return of Superman line, which I just love this whole collection. I actually just got my Superboy in. I haven't even opened him yet. But Mafex did such a good job with this. This is one of my favorite storylines as a kid, one of my favorite comic series. And they just really brought these characters to life, and I absolutely love them. So can't wait to get that Superboy open and on the shelf with the rest of these. But yeah, they're awesome. So and great shot here with the whole group of them. Jesse?
This is a great lineup. I don't have an attachment to this story or these particular figures, but I know you do, and this is a really great shot. I think showcasing all of them together. It's nice to see the complete set, and I really dig the vibrant reds and blues with the black and grays and stuff. This is a really cool looking set of figures.
John?
Yeah, that's a whole bunch of Supermen. Again, like. I don't have any attachment to it. I think the figures look great. I think, kind of the way they're set up, especially with the one in the middle, really drawing your eye in. It's a great shot. It's nice and clear, but yeah, it's super. Very super.
Not a Titan fan, and now not a Superman fan.
I know.
We'll clear this up in a second.
Yeah.
I do want to comment that the cape, the way they've folded and wrinkled the capes to make them look like they're, like getting caught in the wind and bunched up is really nice too.
Yeah, definitely.
I believe there's a super chat out there, Jesse.
Yes, that this might turn things in your favor, Curtis. Rob Zamora, $2 super chat. John, how do you feel about Gambit?
Absolutely love Gambit. When I was growing up, he was one of my favorites, and especially recently in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, Channing Tatum's portrayal of it. Loved it, man. Love Gambit.
Just when I think that you couldn't make me any more mad, you say something like that and totally redeem yourself.
There we go.
Great job. All right, here we go. This is one of Jesse's.
This is from our buddy Dan Tobin over at Dobin Figures. This is a really wicked looking hyena head on the as a Hazar ogre scale figure. I love the greens on that. I love the choices he made in the teeth and the tongue and the mouth and the eyes and everything. Is just really cool. And Dan's he's been constantly blowing stuff away, and I just keep forgetting to snag pictures. So I was like, I've got to get one of Dan's pictures this week, and it's a big green animal. So that was my pick. But go check out his stuff; they're all awesome.
The custom or Dan is
Both.
A big green animal. Oh well, okay.
Well, maybe sometimes.
Okay. Do we know?
We do have another super chat from Rob Zamora. Did we just become best friends?
Yes.
Yep. Do we know where this head is from?
I think that's I can't remember his name, his real name. Moiway is I think his Patreon. I think that's one of his. I'm not positive.
Oh yeah, that's what he says on here. Moiway. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how to pronounce
I think it is. I'm gonna probably screw up if I say who I think it is. So I won't disrespect.
Interesting. It's a great paint match. He did a good job with the greens, matching them in and making them look like they fit there. The fur. I would have maybe continued with some fur onto the torso or the shoulders or something itself. But the color match is perfect. Like I don't know what paints he used on there, but he nailed it. So great job, John.
Yeah, definitely. And what I'm really happy to see is as a Hazar is such a cool but unique figure. So you don't see a lot of customs integrating him because he's just so definitively as a Hazar, right? And so it's really cool to see a custom utilizing that body. And yeah, it's Diego. Yeah, it's totally who I thought it was, and I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to say the wrong name.
From the studio?
No, I think it's Diego Rodriguez, if I recall his last name is. But yeah, just great to see that buck being used for a custom. So yeah, really cool. Digging it.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those figures that when I was placing my order, I was like, it's really cool. I love it. Might be my favorite of the wave, but I'm only going to get one because I can't ever see myself being able to use that for anything else because it's so unique, just like you said. Yeah. I mean, unless you were doing a full repaint of it, and paying ogre prices to repaint something fully is that's
and I mean, if you're going to repaint a half giant builder, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Don't repaint that because that's just so cool. Like,
yeah. It's almost like repainting, or doing a custom out of a figure obscure. I have done it, but it's not like my go-to because it's just it's so unique and so expensive. So
yeah, and I almost feel bad doing it.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like I'm painting over this beautiful figure.
Defacing art, yeah. I'm sorry, Jesse, you were gonna say something.
I just feel like if we cut into this guy, it would be like bright red and juicy, like a watermelon. And now I really want watermelon.
Seeds.
Okay.
So just so you guys know, my brother and sister-in-law just came back. They've been out. They're here staying with me. So they're only hearing my side of this conversation. So if they did not think I was crazy before, I'm pretty sure the next hour and a half will cement that for them.
Oh, beautiful. Are we gonna get them on screen?
I don't know. They're kind of shy.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Next one is one of mine. There's this up and coming photographer out there in the toy industry. He's been doing a few things lately. I think he does good work. I know I'm just trying to get his name out there. It's 16_ and then shooter. So it's the 1 and the 6 are typed out. It's not numbers. So if you're listening to this on audio format, which we don't have, I don't think the H is silent. That would be suitor.
Yeah.
But anyways, this guy does some really great photography. This one is of these new Infinite Legions from Four Horsemen. They're collaborating with Glios maker Matt something or another. Yeah, I don't know. This figure is really cool. I love it. For any of the folks out there that are like, yeah, it's neat, but I'm not getting the blast effect, and so I'm not buying it. Spoiler alert, you're not getting the moon in the background either, or any of these planetary rocks. So sorry about that. I still think it's a cool figure, even without the moon. Now, would it be a cooler figure with the moon? Obviously. But I still think it's cool without the moon, and I think this is a great shot. When this came up on the screen during the reveal, I thought it looked like it was something out of like an upcoming, like one of those 3D animated movies. You know what I'm talking about, Jesse? Like not like the old school animation, but like the really like high tech stuff is what this looked like, and I just thought it was really cool.
Absolutely, John. You go ahead. Go first.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited for these figures, man. Like, and you know, this shot just sells it even more. And you know, I in the chat I saw Brian Lynn say blast is no blast effect yet. And I guarantee you when we get these figures in hand and we can, measure some things, you're gonna get some blast effects.
Well, and that's probably why it doesn't have it now, because Brian is the keeper of the light, and Forrest really couldn't put a light effect on there without getting his permission first. So
yeah, totally. But yeah, no, I'm over the moon for these two figures. I'm super excited for them. Yeah, just everything about this shot is incredible.
Yeah, and folks, go and follow this new photographer too on Instagram. He needs some follows. You want to encourage these folks, when they're first starting out and they're getting their feet underneath of them. You want to show them some encouragement so that they keep doing it, and they'll get better as they go too. So, Jesse.
I think this is great. I did not get to. I was at what has been apparently my final in-person D&D session. Our party kind of disbanded.
What?
For the
Newsflash.
preceding future. Yeah. Yeah. But that said, I was there. It wasn't like a negative, like bad thing. It just, after, I think we're right around exactly 10 years that we were playing together,
Wow.
at least 4 of us. But yeah, I missed the reveal special, but I checked the pictures out, and I'll try to listen to the special, while I'm working tomorrow. But these guys look great. I've been meaning to get into some of the Glio stuff for the last couple of years, but jumped in, finally got some this year at Legion's Con, because I didn't want to miss the boat and have a couple before this stuff got announced and revealed, since they teased it at G-Con. So these look great. I love that they're working in some of the Ox Crew armor and the new armor and stuff. It's just really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool to see those new parts on the older parts, right? Because we've only seen those gauntlets and legs on the new, like, power armor spacesuit kind of look. So it's great to see how they scale with the 1.0 Tusk bodies, and yeah, super exciting. Really cool stuff. And the new pauldrons look great. That new chest armor overlay on the Tusk body looks so cool. Yeah, so excited.
I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Like I mean that D&D, like that's crazy.
Oh.
That's crazy. Like, wasn't it like,
fortunately,
where you were going? Wasn't it like a couple's house?
Yeah.
Are they splitting or something?
No. They're just moving about an hour away. They found some property and some land that they wanted to get, so they're moving about an hour away, which just means it's just a little further for a couple of the other people who is already about an hour to get to where we are. So it's just a little complicated, with all of that stuff. And so it's not, I mean, we kind of wrapped up the campaign, and we were at a good stopping point, essentially, for where everything was, and we just kind of talked out what we thought our characters would do, and then just talked about, we'll maybe get into some one shots or a couple mini games or something down the road, but for now it's just.
Can I ask one follow-up question, and then we can move on with the show?
Sure.
Does this mean that you're now freed up to run a different campaign?
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this point in time.
Because I got an idea for a one shot, at least. I tried to get Joe to do it. I was talking to him about it Friday night, and he won't do it. So
if it's Graddock's Quest, the prequel, no. But
come on, man. Just one battle, just the Battle of Red Rock. All right.
We'll talk. Yeah.
All right. Next is one of Jesse's picks.
So this is an artist I followed. Clearly, it's not action figure related. And I can't read the name. I want to say it's Valentine Pash.
Sure.
But obviously it's Rogue. I just saw this in the feed today, and I just thought that was a really nice take on the character, and I just really like their style, and just really, really dug this picture.
John, go ahead. I'm checking to see if I'm following this.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful piece of artwork, man. It's really well executed, and it almost has like that like cheesecake pinup kind of vibe to it. So yeah, I'm really digging it. Like, just always great to see characters that we all love in a different portrayal. So yeah, great picture.
And not done by AI.
There we go.
Yeah, I was not following this, but I am now, because this is awesome. And that's what we do, folks. When we see something awesome and we're not following them, we give them a follow. But yeah, this is cool. I like how they put this together. Not a surprise Jesse pick. But yeah, this looks great. So great work. And I look forward to seeing what else is on your page.
Super surprised by your Superman and DC picks, by the way.
Thanks. I appreciate that. I'll try to keep you on the edge of your seat. Next, There's this other photographer, up and comer, out there. He's also trying to make a name for himself. This is
Actually,
Mhm.
this is the same guy from your last pick.
Oh, okay. So this
Same
is the same guy.
photographer.
Okay, so this is the same photographer from the last pick. So definitely give him a follow, folks. That's 16_shooter. And he's got a blue check. So that I think means something. I think he's buddies with Elon or something. I don't know how all this works. I don't know. But yeah, sir, in the front.
USDA choice beef approved.
Oh,
Is
okay.
check.
Gotcha.
A pretty good beef.
So it's a good cut, folks. But yeah, another great shot here. I love this figure. Like, first off, just about the figure, I think that the paint job on here is fantastic. When we were talking with Jeremy on Friday, he said he thinks that Sherry painted both of these, but he wasn't positive. But love the accent, like just where they chose to place, certain accents. And then the head on this, I think, is spectacular. Like I wasn't sold on the whole Glyos thing. I got some Glyos, but I'm not a huge Glyos person. When they showed the teaser for Faden at G-Con, I was like, okay, it's cool. I'm happy for those that are happy. I'll probably get one, but when I saw this thing, I was like, wow, this thing is, and then you get this amazing shot, and just, the background and the lighting and everything. It just really highlights this character. And I just love it. I mean, Trevor really killed it with these photos. In all seriousness, like he always does a great job, but these two, I mean, it's like, over the last year or so, like everything that he's putting out is, you want to have it on your wall, right? Like, it's not just good enough to advertise a toy. Like, you want it printed, you want to put it in a frame and put it on your wall. It's that level artwork. And this is just fantastic. And I love that this is the purple one, but it's got like the blue accents and lights in the background. Yeah, just really cool. I love it. Yeah, Jesse.
Are you trying to get Trevor to come play and advocate for the prequel campaign?
No. Okay. So real quick, I don't want to get us totally derailed, but real quick, just so you're aware, because I know you don't come to or watch OffWorld anymore. What I'm trying to do is get a prequel Gradix quest, which is the Battle of Red Rock. And if you know anything from Legion's Quest, in the Battle of Red Rock, the only survivor was Gradix. So the people that I bring with me will all die. So I'm trying to get people that want to play, want to be in a one-shot, knowing that they're all going to die in the campaign, and I'm the only one that's going to survive. So no, I'm not asking Trevor, because I wouldn't want him to die, because he does that on a regular basis in our normal campaign. And that got Darla to giggle, by the way.
That brought
she's
the levels back
across the room. Yeah. Okay.
There's a little too much praise, positive praise coming from you. I'm like, there's an angle here.
Go ahead, Jesse.
No, John, you go ahead.
Okay, John.
Like, he wants something from you. That's all. But yeah, no, I mean, Trevor just knocks it out of the park. I think we're like all so fortunate that he is kind of the in-house studio photographer there. Like, he just kills it. And like I said about the Faden, man, I'm so excited for these two figures. I dabble in Glyos, as I'm pretty new to it. So I've seen these colorways around and everything. I've seen these characters, but just this takes it to the whole next level. And yeah, super excited. Like Curtis said, the use of lighting, of getting the purple and the blue in the background, just accentuates it, and it's a work of art. Like you said, man, this is such an artistic shot, and I think we're all just so fortunate to have Trevor snapping these shots for us to get us all hyped up.
Yeah, I mean, the figure itself is amazing. Both figures are amazing, but the shots are just so freaking good. Like, it's one of these things where, like, I have always, since I've been in this line, I felt like Trevor has done good photography. He's done, his stuff is respectable. It's, you know, it's, I mean, I would probably make some different choices, but with, like I said, within the last year though, like it is banger after banger after banger to where it's like, you know, he's going to put some of this stuff in the calendar, right? And it's like, what's not making the cut? Like, you know, there's going to be some images from this past year that aren't going to make the calendar. And I'm like, I don't know how. Like they're all so freaking good, right?
You're gonna need 2 calendars, man. You got more than one room. Calendar in different rooms, man. Different calendars.
There you go. We're going to need different calendars with different picks.
Right.
We got the A calendar and the B calendar.
Or you got the
One
mythic
for each
calendar
line.
and the cosmic calendar, right? And heck, make a figure calendar. Like, let's do it, man.
Yeah, it's just really cool stuff. So next and the last one, I believe, is one of Jesse's.
This is another artist I follow, Mary DeMary, and it'd be easy to put stuff from her up here every week, all the time. This one just absolutely like blew me away. I'm pretty sure this is all digital, not AI, but like done on like an iPad or a tablet or some sort. But it looks like pastel or like watercolor or something, and it's just absolutely love it. Just I fiddle with drawing and art and stuff on the tablet, and obviously, if I spend more time doing it, I would get better. But the level of skill and quality and beauty in the work she does is amazing, and just wanted to share this one.
All right, so this one I truly am shocked that you picked, because I just went to, because I knew this wasn't one that I recognized, so I knew I had to go follow, because that's what we do, folks. We follow cool artists. And when I went to this, the photo right before this is like an amazing Jinx that she did. And I was like, how did Jesse not pick that one? Like, not that there's anything wrong with this one. This is amazing, but it's one of Jesse's go-tos. But yeah, I mean, there's some really cool work on here. This is fantastic. I love it. Just very well done. Beautiful work. John?
Yeah, I think that.
Oh, we lose John.
He's just in complete awe of the artwork.
I think, yeah, probably those. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Yep.
Did I lag out? Oh man.
Yep. You're good though. Go
Right as you started.
Okay, it's just such a beautiful picture. Beautiful execution. Yeah, the watercolor look. I'm not sure which character this is supposed to portray, if any. But yeah, just that gaze, real natural gaze, kind of looking off into the distance, almost like you can see thoughts working behind those eyes. Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful work.
Beautiful. And then let's see, going back to the chat, Govier says that's why Trevor's adding new months to the calendar. That makes sense now. I was wondering why we had Smarch. And is it June-Vember or something? There's definitely 2 new months, and now it makes sense because he needs to fit those extra pictures in. So got Darla giggling again. So that's 2. Mark. Oh, never. Wait a minute. Never mind. I didn't get Darla giggling. She said Trevor's comment. Got her. So that's 1 for me, 1 for Trevor. So
Okay.
Just FYI.
Well, real quick before we move on, I wanted to pull this up, folks. If you want, you can jump in and get your pre-order for the inaugural release of Infinite Legions. You can do the pre-order of Faden and is it Thanos for 85.
We're calling it Purple
or
Brain
45
Brain.
individually, set of pins or individual pins. And this is pre-order, I believe it. So I'm looking at the actual page, so I'm trying to say it correctly. And they, I believe they said the fulfillment will be sometime like early to mid next year, I believe is what I read.
Like
is the plan as of now. That's what I read.
Q2 2026.
Yeah.
So, which also Jeremy mentioned
yes.
Friday night on OffWorld that Jesse doesn't show up to. So, but maybe now because there's no D&D. So, but here's the.
If I'm running another campaign, I definitely won't be at OffWorld.
Here is the total loadout. If you want to get the two combined, save yourself $5 because they're $45 each. Folks, if you're doing math, 45 times 2 is 90. But if you get the two together, you get it for 85. Save $5. So there you go. It sounds like the way to go. And this is everything that you get here, which is 2 figures, couple cannons, 7 heads, a bunch of extra hands, some holograms. So, I mean, you can't beat that.
And I
And
think
believe
if
those
I recall,
those holograms.
Sorry. I was going to say,
No, go ahead,
we might be saying the same thing. I think those holograms, if I remember, did they say that they were Glyos compatible?
They did say, and yes, they are.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. So you can take some Four Horsemen sculpted mini heads and put them right on your existing Glyos or new ones to come out in the future.
Carry on, sir. There's something I got to pull up, but carry on.
Okay, I don't know if this got pulled up, but Dylan sent in a 15-month member chat, popping in to say hi. I'll catch the replay tomorrow. Love you guys. Purple, 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 purple heart. I don't know. Are those llamas? Oh, those are purple gorillas. A bunch of those. So
That makes sense.
And Steph says she's just got back from 5 Points, plenty of toys in hand, and the prototypes are sick in real life. So she got to see them today at the 5 Points con in New York, I think, somewhere in New York State.
Yep. Well, we're happy for you, Steph, that you had a good time. But you did miss your appearance on Latin Legions. So we're also disappointed in you because we wanted to see you hanging out with the ladies and the Latin Legions guys. And because you weren't there, it was 4 guys to 3 girls. They had you guys outnumbered. So I'm just saying, I'm glad you had a good time, but you also missed. So, and we missed you. So, I did want to pull this up that we also found out Friday night, which is that the Charbots are apparently Glyos compatible. Because when we found out that the same ports for Cosmic Legions fit Glyos, that also means that the same ports for the Charbot fit Glyos. So saw this cool little thing from Brian Lynn of Carver Customs and CarverCon, which apparently Darla Akerman has been invited to and will be at CarverCon next year. Instead of art by Akerman, it's going to be capes by Darla running a table. So apparently negotiations aren't going well. Let's just say that. At this point, I've been excluded from CarverCon, and it's just Darla. So I will. I mean,
space is limited, right?
Yeah, I'll probably possibly be attending, but it doesn't look like I will have a table. So, but if you've got your Charbots, now's the time to put some Glyos stuff with it and make even cooler creations, because I'm still going to promote Brian, even if he gave my wife a table and not me. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now that Curtis has got all that out of his system, you feel good? Is that like the cleanse, the Wheaties work themselves out for the day?
I don't eat Wheaties. They don't have enough sugar content.
You need a soda.
No, but they
I did have some leftover Papa John's today from last night. They've got a new cheddar crust pizza. Highly recommend.
That sounds weird.
Highly recommend. I'm just saying.
Mixing
it's cheese. You can't go wrong with cheese.
Yeah. It's like a crusty cheddar crust on the crust, and then you get that garlic sauce to dip it in. Yeah, it's good stuff there. So
my wife might need to try that. She's a cheesehead, so we'll see.
Listen, if you're going to talk about cheese, our boy Jesse here has the highest cheese ratio of anybody I've ever met. So
it's down a little bit. I don't think I had any cheese today.
You know, you gotta bump
nope,
those
I did.
out,
I did.
man.
I had
those
some. I did have some. I did get a cheese like Danish thing from the store because it was like buy one get one free. And since my brother and sister-in-law here, I thought I'd dive in on that.
I want to share this real quick. This is what I saw this week.
Cool.
See, here in the Akerman house, we have this art by Akerman, right? We got a YouTube channel, got a table at Legion's Con, and we do it all under the Art by Akerman umbrella. But apparently Darla is branching out and found this. So this is the new thing.
And it's good to differentiate it from cannabidinol, CBD oil. Don't get them twisted.
Get yourself some CBD. So
while green and purple go together, I would definitely recommend not mixing green with the imagery for this.
There you go.
So, like I said, I'm still going to support Brian. I'm still going to support Darla, but I'm not going to say it doesn't hurt. So, yeah. Anyway, so John, we've got a show. Yeah.
John, you're here. You're our guest tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. It's one of those people I've been meaning to ask, and then someone suggested. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it now because like I think about it, and then I pull my phone out, and like I got an email, and then I put my phone away, and I forget. So glad we finally got you on.
Me too.
Real before we've got a bunch of pictures to show off some of the work you've been doing, but before we get into that, can you give us a little bit of your background, like how you got into toy collecting? Has it been like an on and off thing through life, or has it just been relatively new that you've come back into it, or what's the deal?
Yeah, man. So yeah, I have kind of always enjoyed toys. Like, I'm a kid of the 80s and early 90s. So growing up, I had all the original Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, He-Man, everything. And but I kind of dabbled here and there throughout life. But I'm a Warhammer player. That's kind of my background. I've played Warhammer for like 30 plus years. And and I mean I've been deep in Warhammer. I worked for Games Workshop for 7 years managing a retail store. So that's kind of been like my main squeeze for a really long time. And about 2 years ago, just a little over 2 years ago, I was out at the bar with a longtime good friend of mine who some of you may know, a little guy named Dave Williams. We've been friends.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's kind of getting around. But yeah, we've been friends for over 20 years in real life. And I hadn't seen him for a while. And we were hanging out at the bar and kind of catching up. And I asked him what he was doing. He was like, well, I've been into customizing these toys called Mythic Legions. And I'm like, well, that's cool. Like, tell me more. So, because he knows I'm a big nerd and I love building and painting models. And so he told me all about it. And I kind of sat on the peripheral for a while. It was right when All-Star 6 pre-order was going on. I saw Baradoc and I was like, oh man, that is so cool, but I don't know if I'm ready. And then a few months after that, I have like a hobby room. I call it the hobby house. I have a guest house that's just all mine for hobby.
Oh wow, that's
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm just trying to kick the kids out of my house.
It was the condition of us buying a house. It was I need my own separate space. So my wife gets the main house. She can do whatever she wants with it. I get the back house. I can do whatever I want with it. But yeah, I had a flood back there, and so I had to move everything out and put it all into like a storage container for several months, and all of my Warhammer stuff ended up in there. So I had nothing, no hobby to do whatsoever. And I've been talking with David Williams a lot more about it and kind of, researching and kind of deep diving. And I said, you know what, I need something. So I decided to jump in and picked up my first purchases were All-Stars 5 all-in and the Grave Knight book 2, or all in. So kind of a lot to start with, right? But I kind of started popping and swapping and taking figures apart, just fell in love with it. And David introduced me to lots of really cool people who have become really dear friends. Brian Lynn, Joe Martinez, Joe Connors, Joe Suter, lots of Joes. And it's just kind of grown. Tom's Belay, and yeah, I've just really fallen hard for it, and gotten into like 3D printing and designing stuff, and yeah, just having tons of fun with it. And now I'm just hooked. I'm all in. 2 years later, I'm in. So, so that's kind of how I come to it.
A lot to unpack there. But before I get into that, one thing that I thought of while he was talking there, Jesse, can we have a show where we just like list all the Joes in the community and we come up with nicknames for all of them? So that
I thought that's what Joe Fest was.
That would be a freaking great idea, wouldn't it? At Joe Fest, like have a segment where you just come up with nicknames for all the Joes.
A panel of Joes.
Yeah. You know, I'm not going to be
Joe on the shelf.
I'm not going to be at Joe Fest, but I am going to be at Joe Lanta. I wonder if maybe in Joe Lanta I can work something out.
Yeah.
Okay. Put that in our brains. We'll stew on that a little bit. So this whole David Williams guy you mentioned. My understanding is he does some tattooing.
Yeah.
Do you happen to have some David Williams art on yourself?
Probably about more than half of my tattoos I have are from Mr. Williams. So yeah.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, he did Snake. He did my Scorpion Lady. So yeah, he did my skull upside down. Yeah, lots of artwork.
And your shirt.
And my shirt.
Yep.
Lost my earbud.
That's cool.
Yeah. So and you know, I'll let David know I don't wear shirts with print on them very often. I'm a plain color t-shirt kind of guy. So he made the cut.
Very cool. Yeah, you gotta have some plain colors in there. You don't want to be too flashy. So
I mean, you went hog wild with like a huge kaleidoscope of colors on that one too.
Totally.
Yeah,
very, very colorful. I like to think my personality is colorful enough that I can kind of dress a little drab.
There we go.
Yeah. Speaking of David Williams, he also bailed on us on Friday. He joined OffWorld, and then he said he was having mic problems, and he just never came back. I think he doesn't like us. So
was there someone named Mike in the chat?
No, I don't think there was. But he said mic problems. I thought he meant microphone, but it might have been like a guy named
what
Mike.
That makes me think.
I don't give a
What's
fuck.
that?
His name was Mike.
Fucking Mike.
That's probably it, Jesse. He was probably having problems with a guy named Mike. So yeah.
Speaking of what we do in the shadows, I did show that to my brother and sister-in-law last night, and I think they enjoyed it.
So you had mentioned Warhammer. Are you doing any of the Joy Toy stuff right now?
So I have one. I
Okay.
picked up one for really cheap just to try it out, and it's fun. Like I like it a lot, but I think like many hobbyists, I'm working on a budget. And so I got to pick and choose. And so I've really just decided that Legions is my toy line. I have a couple of others, like some Plunderlings, things like that. But I'm really trying to stay focused on Legions only. But some of the Joy Toy stuff is really, really appealing. And
it's cool looking, but it's also not cheap.
No, if I had infinite money, then yeah, I would definitely have like all of the Primarchs of the Legions. That'd be great. But yeah,
maybe not infinite money, but you can get infinite Legions now at storehorseman.com.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
This is not a paid advertisement.
That's why I got into Cosmic Legions, because I needed more space for my collection.
Yeah.
space.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I mean, our buddy Recon Rage, now star of the new and improved OffWorld. Every week when we do our toy pickups, he's showing all these like Joy Toy Warhammer stuff, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and like him and I have talked, and essentially it seems like we do almost the same job. But his company must pay him a whole lot more money than mine does. Because even though we're doing relatively the same job, my toy haul versus his toy haul are completely different. But yeah, those Joy Toys are cool looking, but yeah, a lot of money, and space too, right? Like they're chunky boys. So.
Well, and it's not even like, I think individually they're not too much more like a regular Space Marine or something is about equivalent in cost to a Mythic Legion. The bigger ones, like the I don't know if you're familiar with the Warhammer story, but each Space Marine Legion has like the daddy of that Legion called a Primarch. Okay. And so they're like superhuman. They're superhuman, I guess. They're about the size of a Mythic Legion in 1/18 scale. And I mean, those figures are $120 to $140 depending on the figure. Yeah. And there's 18 of them. And I can't just pick one, right? They're like laser potato chips. You can't have just one. And so, like I have to pick and choose, right? Because I still collect Warhammer too. and I play Magic cards, and like I hate money, hate it. So I pick really expensive hobbies. And my wife probably thinks about killing me in my sleep because of it. But it's what I do.
I think they make a room for that.
Had to pick and choose.
So are you like, when you say you collect the standard Warhammer, are you also like painting armies and stuff like that? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I haven't ever since kind of fallen into Mythic Legions. That's kind of taken a back seat. But I definitely still, I'm on the mailing list and I see the new stuff come out. I'm like, ooh, that's cool. I want it. But then it's like, well, I spent all my money on Mythic Legions this month. So yeah, maybe next month. In fact, how I've afforded a lot of my Legion stuff is by selling my excess Warhammer stuff.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I did that with my old Motu collection. I sold all my classics and origins when I first got into Mythic Legions, kind of helped fund the initial startup. So I know what you're going through there.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, I worked for Games Workshop for 7 years, and they have a very healthy employee discount.
Oh, nice.
And so, working there, I bought a very excessive amount of stuff. And was sitting on a lot. Just to give you an idea, when I had that flood and everything was in the container, I was like, I need to get rid of some of this stuff. I had a yard sale just selling Warhammer stuff to local community members, and I think I made like $5,000.
Holy cow.
Yard sale. Yeah. So, and a lot of stuff, like more than any sane person should really have.
Well, speaking of yard sales, we got a $5 super chat from Rob Zamora. I had a sweet, very kind and generous swig meeting with John at Legions Con 24. Elevator. It's one of my top 5 memorable moments from Legions Con.
Awesome.
What does that have to do with yard sale?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, that was an interesting
That's my conversation clutch.
Oh, okay.
We call that a pivot.
I was living in Illinois for a while. I know. Feel sorry for myself. But my neighbor at one point was having a yard sale, and I was like, oh, I'll go next door just to see, they might have something, that I'm interested. And I walked next door, and I started looking at the prices, and like it was ridiculous. Like they had a couch for like $800, like a used couch. And then they had like some other, like they had a lamp that was like $85 and stuff like that. And I'm like, and I knew my neighbor pretty well. And I was like, aren't these prices a little high? And he's like, I just got to sell one thing. That's it. Like that's his whole goal is like, if I sell one thing, I'm good. So So there you go. Just price everything high and try to sell one. So we got TD3 Trooper says, I love the McFarlane Warhammer 40K. Now those are bigger, right?
Yeah, those are like, I think like 8-inch scale. Like they're big.
Yeah.
And I only have one McFarlane 40K figure, and it's the orc in mega armor. And it's so one thing that's really cool McFarlane did was they did the artist proof series where it's an unpainted action figure with the intention that you paint it yourself. Which I think as a Warhammer guy, I appreciate. But I only have the one, and I picked it up for $5 at Ross, and it's the only reason I have it. But yeah, I mean, I collected McFarlane back in like Spawn Wave 1 and Wetworks figures and stuff, like some of the really old Image stuff that they did. And even back then, they were, pretty. They looked really cool, but as far as toys go, had a lot of limitations. So, I'm not sure how the McFarlane 40K stuff is. It looks cool, but I think the Joy Toy stuff just takes it to a whole different level.
Yeah. I can't do 1/18th scale. Like that's if they were 1/12 scale, because I don't know a lot about Warhammer. Like I haven't like dove into the rabbit hole because it's just something I'm scared to do because, like you said, you can only collect so much, right? But like I've read a little bit and watched some stuff on the orcs where they have like the cybernetic parts and all that kind of stuff, and where they can like believe something into existence, and like just the whole idea of them. If those came out with cybernetic orcs on a 1/12 scale, I would be in real trouble financially. Like that would be bad.
There's a couple in the McFarlane line, and I'm sure you could probably pick them up for a pretty good price. So
check that out.
But but kind of to piggyback on that, even though like they are 1/18 scale, because the characters are huge, right? Space Marines are 7-8 feet tall.
Right.
And so even though it's a 1/18 figure, they still stand like 5.5, almost 6 inches tall in that scale.
Yeah.
So,
it's just when everything on your shelf, like without armor, is standing 7 inches tall.
Yeah.
Just
I get you.
Yeah, it doesn't quite do it. It's like Classified. I was collecting Classified for a while, and I think that Hasbro is doing an amazing job on that line. And I get the package. I love the box art. I take them out. I think the figures are great. I put them on my shelf and I can't see them. They're just so, that little bit difference in size. It's just like they just disappear into the background. So
Fair enough.
Yeah, but anyway,
you just got to have a different case for those figures.
I guess so. Yeah, I need to have something
smaller ones on the back shelf.
Yeah, I need to have like a shelf in the hallway so that I have to walk by it and like be like right next to it. Like oh, there they are. Yeah.
So in my hobby house, on one side I have my Mythic Legions display, and then on the other side I have my Warhammer display. So they're like separate. You can't put them side by side.
No, that doesn't work. Awesome. And Jesse, did you have some stuff to show from John?
Yeah, let's dive in. So you said you got into the Legion stuff about 2 years ago, and then got into customizing, painting pretty quick, or printing and stuff. I know some of the stuff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say the first figure I opened, I just immediately started painting. That was Novaean Lean. So yeah.
Okay.
Very cool.
And dove right in. Some of the stuff at the beginning of this slideshow, I think, are some things I just saw you put up recently. So we're just gonna jump right in here.
Work backwards.
And if you want to just talk us through it.
For sure. So so when it comes to me creating stuff, like oftentimes it's born out of this is something I want or someone else wants, and so I'm just gonna make it. And then kind of put it out there. And if other people like it, cool. If nobody else likes it, oh well, I made it for myself or for one particular person. So this the rangefinder set, we were in Legion's chat late one night. I think it was a guy named Brad Johnson was asking like, hey, does anybody make a rangefinder? Sort of like a Boba Fett style rangefinder. And I knew, I thought I had seen something, but I wasn't sure who did it or what. And so I was like, well, I can make it. So I just decided to put it together. And then I thought, like, as I'm doing it, like, it'd be cool to print this in clear green resin. So that way you actually have the lens. And so it kind of just organically came together the next day, and just slapped it all together. And I sent him a message, like, is this what you were thinking? He was like, yeah, man, for sure. So I just printed up, if you're printing one, you can print more pretty easy. So I just printed up a ton of them, and when I did it, it was like, well, people want the right side or the left side? Well, I'll just do both. And so I sold them in pairs and put them out there, and yeah, people seem to enjoy them. So yeah, man,
very cool.
Fun. So yeah, that's what that guy comes from. All right, so this one, there's a bit of a story too. Later on, we're going to see my my Crab Assault support robot, which I'll talk more about. But I had put that up. This one is called the Maze Runner, spelled M-A-Y-S-E Runner, after Eric Cornboy Maze. And the reason why is because I put up that first one, and he commented like, "Dude, this is cool. You should make one that's like uses the tusk head as the abdomen of a spider." And I was like, oh, yeah, man, that'd be rad. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll work on that. And he kind of lit a fire under my butt because he said, well, if you don't do it, maybe we will. Oh, okay. That's how it be. All right. So I made it, and I had some this one kind of gave me a lot of challenges in the engineering of it and getting it to print properly. So it took a little while. But yeah, I made it, and I sent a picture. I was like, dude, what do you think? And he was like, I love it. So I was like, well, I got to run with it, man. So another thing, I try to make stuff that uses Legion's parts that we don't see a lot of. So the one on the left with that green canopy that came in the the earlier cosmic stuff that. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use it. And I've looked at it and like, this is cool, but I don't see myself using it on a figure. So I was like, well, what if I make it so it can be utilized for this? Because I think, a lot of us have it, and it's just sitting in our parts bins, just collecting dust. So, and then also every tusk figure you buy comes with several different heads and different varieties. So I wanted to make something that could utilize all those, so it's not just parts in our bins. It's things that we can utilize.
That's a really cool idea to get people to be able to use parts they have extras of. And that one in particular, those clear like helmet screens, it gives it adds a little bit more of like not cybernetic, but like there's almost like a biological element to it, kind of like the things in the Matrix that were like crawling around the pods, and
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to come up with something that you can attach a bunch of wing adapters to.
Okay, I'll come up with something. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something. But yeah, so like and so like I said, I always come from a place of I guess selfishness of I want to make something for me. And so I was looking in my parts bin, and I was like, man, I got all these tusk heads. They're cool. They're all different colors, different styles. And I don't have enough figures to put them on. So I'm just going to make something that I can put them on and display them. And and so the legs on these have a pivot to them. They're not super posable. There's some limitations with resin posability, but the legs move. on a pivot right at the body, and that connection point I've tried to. So again, like I said, Brian Lynn, good friend of mine, he was kind enough to kind of let me use the same sort of connection points that he uses on Charbots. So it's that same type of connection with the rubber grommet. So there's no resin on resin contact. And as we'll talk later, there's some compatibility with Charbots and some of the other stuff I've made.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah. All right. That's the guy.
Yeah, I need to get one of those. I've picked up one of these from Brian, but he didn't have that head. I need to get that head.
For sure, man. Yeah, we'll get you one. So yeah, I mean, this kind of was just more brainstorming stuff and
brainstorming. I see what you did.
Yeah. You did. So this body is the first body I made to start putting heads on. So it has the ball on the top is the same size as a 1.0 head. So you could put any head on it that you want. And then this head came again, like I take a lot of inspiration from the community. I think someone said like, it'd be cool if there's a brain in a bubble. It's like, okay, well, how do I do that? And so the clear plastic part is actually, what are they called? Like the coin-op gashapon machines.
The gotcha machines, yeah.
Yeah. So I bought the bubbles. I took one half and threw it away, and the other half is the top of this.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it's kind of like, trying to, because 3D printing a transparent plastic like that is really challenging because you get print lines and stuff. And it's like, well, why reinvent the wheel? Somebody else is already making these, so I'll just utilize them. So yeah, so it's kind of like, was inspired by like I love Hellboy, and so what's his name? Kraus. Can't remember his name. But yeah, that kind of inspired me. So this head can go on a 1.0 body too. So yeah, just having fun, just creating, right? Just making stuff.
That's cool. Great.
So
this guy's awesome.
Thank you. This thing was kind of like my coup de grace last year. This was my Allegiance Con kind of like release last year, and it was kind of like trying to think of like taking other sci-fi tropes and bringing them into the action figure world. So this was a kit that replaces the lower legs and the feet and the gauntlets and the head and the backpack. And yeah, I was like kind of thinking like, this was inspired a lot from the Ox Crew stuff, like that wasteland kind of vibe that we're getting into, which I am just over the moon excited for. So I kind of wanted to work in that realm of like, well, what about like a guy, striding out in the dunes, or like the wasteland, a sniper, or hunter. And, if there's obviously some Warhammer influence on this of like the digigrade mechanical legs is something that's inspired by Warhammer. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And again, you trying to utilize parts that not everybody uses with the rubber hoses, right? Like trying to find new ways to use them and integrate them into what makes it to the shelf.
So is the bottom part like totally static, or is there some movement with it?
It has the knee joint moves, and then it has the ankle joint. It utilizes the ankle joint from Mythic Legion's feet.
Oh, okay.
So it has the ankle moves and the knee moves, but the digigraded angle like that, it's static.
Yeah, but it still has the same articulation as an actual Legion's then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's what I was worried about. Like if the ankle didn't move, like you'd only basically be able to get it into one pose, but incorporating the ankle joint is a nice idea. I like that.
Yeah. And this kit, it's a challenge to pose and like keep it posed. Like it's you've got a lot of angles that you're working with. So once you get it in like a cool pose, it's like, well, will it stand? And that's kind of why I put those little feet kind of coming off the back to help give it some more kind of leg to stand on.
Well, I like those little legs because if he's a sniper, that gives it, maybe those like kick out and like, kind of like some of those mechs you see in movies and stuff where they'll take their step and then they'll like drill down into the ground to balance themselves. And if they take the shot, they don't get blown back. And that's really cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a really challenging thing to make to where it was like it can be functional, right? But it was a lot of fun to make.
That's super cool. I like it.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
But I do need to get one of those brain heads.
What was that now?
I said I do need to get one of those brain heads for the robotic spider thing.
Oh, yeah, man.
Some more chest plugs.
Yeah, that's nice.
Use the hoses?
So it was again like just trying to come up with new ways to use the parts we have, and so something that isn't shown here is this is just a single hose. It's not two hoses, and it wraps around the body, and there's like a canister that it passes all the way through. There we go, sits at the small.
Oh, nice.
That kind of helps hold it in place, kind of give it some form.
It'd be cool with this is if there was something that coming from the chest that kind of went over the face. Yeah,
that would be really cool. And some of the parts that we have coming out in Ox Crew, some of the shorter hoses might lend themselves to that more. But I've been trying to kind of brainstorm ways to be able to 3D print more flexible things. To be able to print different lengths of hose.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, definitely something I've thought of, and I was like, well, how do I make that happen? It's still percolating. But yeah, this was again just something where it was like, in fact, where this came from last year, I think was it for IshCon, they had the Kit Bash contest. And what I kit bashed, I made like a space dwarf, and I took that back piece that the hoses connect into, and I kind of wedged it up under the beard of the head that I had used into the chest to kind of have the hoses coming up. And I was like, well, if there's a beard to cover it, that works. But what about when there's not a beard? So that kind of got me like, oh well, how do I make this happen? So yeah, lots of fun to do, and yeah, just trying to make cool things for people to play with, man.
Yeah, I like that canister in the back. That's nice.
Thank you. So yeah, this is a custom I did. Again, like I said, I come from Warhammer. I'm a Chaos fan. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I have a Chaos star tattooed on my elbow. Also,
you're gonna have to explain that one because I don't know enough about Warhammer to know what you're talking about.
So in Warhammer, the bad guys, one of the big bad guys is Chaos.
Okay,
and Chaos is 4 gods that kind of live outside of real space that influence people in different ways and corrupts them.
Okay,
and so the Chaos Warrior in the Warhammer fantasy story is sort of like the shock troop of the forces of chaos. And so the parts that I utilized on this are from the designer Action Figure Fusion. So yeah, I just wanted to make my own Chaos Warrior in mythic scale.
Very cool.
And then it's utilizing Demistros cape. Yeah, just kind of, I don't even know where the rest of the parts came from. Just random parts that I had in my bin that got painted dark silver.
I love this mace.
Dude, it's huge. It's like absurdly large.
Is it one piece?
It's 2 pieces. Well, you could print it in 1 piece, but I don't think my build volume is big enough, and I have a Saturn 3, so I have a decent sized volume, but it is so huge that you print the head separate from the handle.
I think that's
And it has a
typically
chain.
the better way of doing it anyway, just with resin
Yeah.
printing. Like, you know, you get something that long and then that's also like heavy at one end, and you can snap it pretty easily. So I think, you know, having it in two pieces, not only for print purposes, but just, you know, painting and putting it together makes a lot of sense. So
yeah,
that's cool.
thank you. So yeah, that's one of my more favorite customs I did in the last.
This your
year.
shield and sword too?
Yep, that's all from Action Figure Fusion. Yeah,
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a cool set. So this is another thing I created. This is, I think, the second thing I made. I was kind of working on, like, again, new ways to utilize things, and I was, you know, inspired by like the old Lost in Space with the, you know, Robbie Robot, Last Bubble with the kind of the innards working inside. And so this was just a real, like, you know, it's just plugs right into where the neck peg plugs in. And I printed it in clear blue, so that way when you paint it, the electrical arcs are clear blue resin. And just trying to come up with new ways to do, you know, new things with some of the toys we already have in our collection.
I like that.
My brain just can't see anything but like Cyber Slug, but like I totally get where you're going with the Robbie, but my brain just sees this as like a cyborg slug, and I think I need to get this.
You know, that too. That works too.
Yeah, that's
whatever. It's your toys. Play with them how you want.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you know, we've got way too many tusk heads. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create something that gives you more tusk heads.
right. Yeah. So you know, maybe that was where the other stuff came from. You know.
Yeah. But, so where do people find this stuff? Like, where they reach out to you directly, or do you have a site?
You can reach out to me directly. I was planning on making a website, but it just was kind of too much of a pain in the butt. And I'm like I said, I'm an old guy. The internet can still be kind of scary sometimes. So I do have an eBay store. I need to, this summer, my plan is to kind of do a rebrand on everything and get everything all under the same umbrella of my sort of the company that I work under, which is Raging Ogre Studio.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to consolidate everything because my eBay store is just X Big Bad John 520X. And so going to be renaming that soon. But if you want to get these, just drop me a line. You'll save a couple bucks because I don't have to pay eBay fees then. So, yeah.
Do you do any shows with this stuff?
So out here in Tucson, Arizona, it is a desert in more
literally
one.
Yeah.
And there's not a huge Legions presence at shows out here. Mm-hmm. So I went to Legions Con this last year, and I was my friend Brian Lynn was gracious enough to host me on his table. So I had stuff there. I'll be back for Legions Con this year. I think we're still planning on sharing a table there, and I will be at Carver Con next year. But yeah, conventions are hard for me because I got a wife, I got kids, I got a job, dogs, mortgages. And so getting to shows, because there just aren't many here, is challenging. So I end up selling online mostly. I try to do sales drops to keep myself sane, and then sell on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, I should be able to see you there at CarverCon because I think I'm just going to be a guest.
Yeah, cool.
Because Brian just wants my wife to run her own table. So,
you know, there's only so many tables, right? So,
yeah. But that means I got more time to shop. So,
right. Yeah. Come on over. I don't know what table I'll be at. I'm trying real hard to make sure I get table 26 if there's that many.
Okay.
So what's the number? Table 26.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can spend money faster than my wife is making money. That's going to be
it's real easy to do.
It should be with who I've seen so far. It sounds like it's going to be very easy to do.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So real quick before we move on to the next things, to find you, did they just reach out to just Ogre John on Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, so well on Facebook, on Instagram, again, I need to rebrand. It's Big Bad John 520.
Okay.
But in the cabal and everything, because of the work I do and the work my wife does, we need to be hard to find online. And so I had my name on there spelled backwards. It was Eroom Naj for a while. And it kind of came to a point they were talking about the Maze Runner bot on Euro Legions, and they just butchered my name. And so I was like, okay, I get it. It's confusing. So I just recently changed my Facebook screen handle to Ogre John.
Okay.
But again, this summer, my plan is to really rebrand everything under the umbrella of Raging Ogre Studio.
Okay. Very cool.
Very cool.
Now we do know another guy that's an ogre, Big Greg, and he falls over a lot. Do you have any problems with that? Any knee problems?
You've got to be on your toes all the time, and doors make it challenging. So I thought real hard and long about making my screen handle bigger than Greg John.
That's a great one. I like that
because he and I, it depends if he can get his hair blown out a lot, who's taller between the two of us. But I'm sure at Legion's Con, when you saw the two ogre scale guys puffed up, who's taller right now?
I can let you borrow my purple top hat if that would help.
I feel like that's just trying to draw too much attention to myself.
Okay.
Can't wear hats.
Are you saying I'm trying to be flashy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, everybody's got their thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so bigger than Greg was almost the name.
I like it. That's how I'm gonna consider you anyways, regardless of what you put. So all right.
So
what do we got here? Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
Well, so if you go back to that previous picture, this was the first thing I designed to print out, and it was just the brain in the jar, right? It's a pretty common sci-fi trope over many years, and so this was kind of like I hadn't seen anything like it, so I've decided to make it, put it out there, and tons of fun, man.
Cool.
Yeah, and right now, so I have these up on eBay, and they come in a set of 3, like a normal size brain. This is the larger brain than like a misshapen alien brain. And I recently printed these up in clear red resin, and they look really cool. I don't know why I didn't do that from the get-go. So, yeah.
Nice. And they all fit in the dome?
Yeah, every single one of them. That was when I designed it. That was like my whole driving thing of I just want them all to fit in the dome because that was the whole vibe I was going for.
Very cool.
Thanks. So this is, I think, hands down my favorite custom I've done. Tarna from Heavy Metal. Again, I'm a product of the 80s, and I saw Heavy Metal at like way too young an age to be appropriate, and it was really impactful to me. So yeah, I just love Heavy Metal magazine. Down the street from the house I grew up in was a used bookstore called Bookman's, and they had a whole section of old Heavy Metal magazines, and I remember snatching them off the shelf and finding like a place where I wouldn't get caught being like a 10-year-old looking at Heavy Metal magazine. Yeah, got chased out of there a couple times. Like, quit looking at that stuff. Like, yeah. But yeah, when I was kind of like, thinking about what do I want to create, I saw Tarna and I was like, oh man. And then I saw Thrace's head and I was like, oh man, like it kind of just came together. And this figure, I use a lot of 3D printed stuff in my customs just because why not? But this one is all Mythic Legions even the belts, I took the brown rubber belts and I split them in half and glued them on.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
So being out in the desert, like how far of a hike was it to get to this location?
that's background just from Photoshop. To get this desert, you got to go up a little further north. Around here, it's more of a lush desert.
Gotcha. Yeah, as soon as I flew, I was like, oh, I know exactly who this is.
Yeah,
I gotta make sure. I gotta make sure I do a recap with this so Cloud sees this when I do the recap tomorrow.
awesome.
Now this guy.
Yeah. So again, using some parts from Action Figure Fusion. This is just, I saw these parts and I had Decibelus sitting on my shelf. I was like, okay, here we go. But yeah, just a big old Frost Ogre. And that axe, is gigantic. It's, I think, about 11 inches long.
Wow.
It's huge. And that is all a one solid print. So,
Oof.
yeah. I had to angle it in my build volume just right to get it to print. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
now,
it's
as if
big, mean dude.
Would you do that differently now? Would you try to make it to where you could make it in two parts?
I tried doing it in two different parts and had a bunch of failures. The handle kept failing. And so I was like, well, just, F it. I'm going to try it. And it came out perfect. I was like, oh, well, there we go.
So the straighter, simpler part of it is harder for the machine to print.
I think it was just in the way I had it angled and supported on the build plate. It was just kept warping and falling off. So yeah, I printed it essentially just standing almost straight up and then just tilted it enough where it would fit.
Oh wow!
Printed it that way, and it came out. So I kind of fumble my way through 3D printing half the time. I'm not like an expert or anything.
That's how I do everything.
Right. and so, yeah, it was just one of those fluke things. And I've never tried printing it again because it was like, I can't take any more failure. But yeah, just a fun kit that they did that just is mean looking.
I know it's not the same vibe, but I get that vibe that like this character just kind of like activates some sort of ice powers and they just grow out of the armor and the weapon, kind of like that Spike guy in that last kind of X-Men movie, Last Stand movie.
Yeah, I could see that
like,
for sure.
Way cooler.
Or just weaponized ice crystals.
Yeah, I tried to block the X-Men movies out of my brain.
You know who uses ice shards a lot? Trevor. In Legion's Quest.
Cool. This is a head from Planetary Dog Studio that I love the look of Debistros, but the head wasn't super vibing with me, so I was like, I need something else. So I picked that up off of Planetary Dog and painted it up and slapped it on there, and like, yeah, I dig it.
Got a bunch of extra belts on there.
Yeah, so well, yes and no. It's all stuff that came with the Decibelus, I believe. He comes with the extra belts. And I put the two belts on and then wove the belts that are attached to the cape through it. So I just
I see it now. I thought they were all like the soft good straps from the cape, but no, I see the regular belts now.
Yeah, they
really cool.
Match really well.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
We'll scoot on to this guy. Curse, you'll like this guy.
Yeah, I like the chains and everything.
Yeah, so I like, I'm a fantasy guy. I love fantasy tropes and everything, and I wanted to make a dwarf, but like an evil dwarf. And so my story for this,
they're all a little evil.
Well,
Right.
and that's something I appreciate in Mythic Legions is that the dwarves are kind of evil, or at least part of the evil faction, whether by by choice or not.
Little guy syndrome. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but in lots of other fantasy tropes, dwarves are typically good. But
Debatable, but okay.
Something I never quite understood is how come dwarves don't have necromantic powers, right? Because when people die, what do we do with them? We bury them, right? And now they're in the ground, which is like the realm of the dwarves, right? So why wouldn't they, harness whatever magic they have to animate dead people?
Solid logic.
Sorry, that makes total sense. I love it. But in my mind is like, oh, you're going to throw this away down here. We're going to send it back to you.
Exactly. We're going to weaponize it and send it back at you. So in my story, this is a dwarf who kind of found himself in a tough spot, trying to find a new place to mine, and happened upon the magical powers to be able to reanimate the dead. And those powers come from Poxus, specifically from, I think it's Azar has the power to create life, and Zazar has the power to destroy. And so, Azar kind of gave him these magical tomes to create locks that he can put on corpses to animate them. And that's all the keys that are hanging off of them. Is the keys are what allow him to control all the undead stuff. But of course that kind of really puts a tear in Necronominus, because that's his realm, right? He's the one who animates the dead. So this guy's kind of like in my mind, in my head canon, like a rogue agent for Poxus.
Nice.
But yeah, lots of fun to do.
Cool.
Just trying to find new ways to utilize parts. And I saw the Marley harness with all the chains of the keys, and I was like, that's what we got to do.
Nice.
There is a dwarf king, but I don't know that I'd call him a heroic dwarf king. Bromden is kind of a slimy dude. So
yeah, but is it by circumstance, or is it?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he has aligned himself with the goblins and is focused on money, but is there a reason why he's focused on money? I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason behind it. I think he's, just an angry little elf. So
he's saving up for that. He's saving up for that epic rare armor set.
Yeah. Well, there's an old saying: if you lay down with dogs, you'll wake up with fleas, right? So maybe just being around all those goblins.
It's like that little guy of Mice and Men that just is always picking fights with the bigger folk, just they're just always mad, Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not really. I mean, how that book's been out for 70 years or something.
I don't know. You read a book?
Well, when I was in school and they made me, yeah.
Oh.
I can read. I just can't comprehend in most instances because my vocabulary is very limited. So, which is why I have to look up many definitions.
You know how you fix that is you read more.
Nah. I just wait for people to say things that I don't know, and then I look up the definitions like this, and then I make a banner for them.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then it plays the reading rainbow. Chime.
Yeah. Like the other day we had this one came up, Shimmer, and then I didn't know what tremulous was, so then I had to look up tremulous. So sometimes one definition
quivering.
Yeah, sometimes one definition leads to another. So it's vicious.
But you're educating yourself. You're educating yourself, and that's what matters.
Yeah. It's just a matter of, do I retain it? That's the question. So
use it 3 times in that, in sentences, and you'll retain it.
It's a good idea. I might have to try that.
You gotta have the quivering, tremulous shimmer.
Mm-hmm. This guy's cool. I like that. I did one like this where I did a trident into the wrist like that for did a Calaboss from Clash of the Titans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But as a gladiator, this looks really cool. I like this.
Thanks. So, like again, the story, the headcanon. So I kind of got to this guy in a really roundabout way. And it was right around the time that Carl Weathers passed. And so I've kind of, seen a lot of the stuff in Apollo Creed, and then it's like Apollo and then Rocky.
Mm.
Who would Rocky be, and well, who would be the Rocky of Mythic Legions? Maybe and so I was thinking of man, now I'm spacing on his name. Head of the Noble Bear. What's his name?
Oh, what's his face?
Not Adamon.
Atlas.
Atlas. Yeah.
Atlas, right? And so I was like, well, Atlas needs like a gladiator nemesis from his time in the gladiatorial arena.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where I started with. And so he's like, again, I have like ADHD and all this stuff. And so my brain kind of goes, woo, on all these tangents. And so all these tangents led me to, this is my Apollo Creed of Mythic Legions. And he lost his hand to Atlas in a battle. He was like one of the champions of the arena, and then Atlas disarmed him. Yeah,
literally.
Is that a nod to Happy Gilmore?
No, but damn, it should be.
that's yeah. Damn alligator.
That's Carl Weathers, right?
Yeah, it was Carl Weathers.
This is Chubbs the Gladiator.
Chubbs the Gladiator. So yeah, and I think I can't remember where this head came from. I picked it up and I just loved it. I thought it was such a cool, like, menacing gladiator look.
Mm.
So yeah, I just kind of put it together and had fun, man. Just kind of creating my own headcanon stories.
I think that this totally works for a gladiator because, if you're, let's say you're just some other random person in Mythos and stuff. If you lost a hand, you just kind of deal with not having a hand. But if you're a gladiator, like, that makes that arm pretty much useless. So now you've got to figure out, like, how can I make this arm not useless, and throwing like a trident on the end of your arm just makes sense,
right? And especially it's his right arm, so like that's predominantly a sword arm of most people. So yeah, so it's like, well, how do I fight now? So
yeah, they try to swing their sword at you, and you catch it with the trident, and then you come back with your sword, and yep,
exactly.
That's not a trident, that's a dudent.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
Hello. And then this is just having fun, kind of playing in the heavy metal realm of sci-fi, kind of more adult tropes, adult themes, right? And I saw this torso and I was like, well, I wonder if that armor could fit on it. And it sure enough did. I was like, well, there we go. We're going to make a scantily clad sci-fi chick who, she's not a damsel. She's kicking butt and taking names.
This definitely looks like a heavy metal cover for sure.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's kind of like what I was going for. And I've kind of updated this since I took this picture and kind of switched some things around, but yeah, having fun, man.
That head's pretty sweet too.
That's another action figure fusion head, but it's scaled down. And normally it's a 1.0 head. It's just scaled down to 2.0, and it's kind of androgynous, but you slap lipstick on it, it passes for a lady.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So this is a custom I recently did.
That's creepy.
So again, I'm from Tucson, grew up here, not born, but definitely raised. And so I love Southwest culture and Southwest mythology and all this. And something, if you're not from here, you might not know about, but our sort of boogeyman, right? We don't have Bigfoot down here. We have La Llorona. And
I only know this from Supernatural.
yeah. So it's kind of shown up in some
it,
stuff. Yeah, it's shown up here and there in sort of pop culture, but it's still very much kind of like a Southwest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And each region, each like township has its own kind of story about La Llorona. But it's still the same typical themes of she's a ghostly specter who haunts the banks of rivers or arroyos, which are washes. They're dried up riverbeds. And she kind of wanders at sunset and dusk and is looking for her lost children. And so back a few months ago, I can't remember which cabal or how it started, but people were essentially like, wish listing the figure obscura that they could have.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else was like La Llorona. And I was like, yeah, heck yeah, that'd be awesome. And so eventually I was like, I just need to make my own La Llorona. This is the way I envision her. And so this is like all lesions parts. The body was a Thrace body, the torso and waist piece I repainted. The skeleton parts, actually I didn't have access to 2.0 skeleton parts at the time. So those are Okiedos' arms and legs. Repainted. And then it's got just I don't remember where the skull came from. Maybe like it came with the one that came with Krampus or something. And I just paint matched all the bone parts to that. And then the veil and the skirt are from Ghost of Christmas Past. I just cut them up and kind of repurposed them. The same thing with the crown of roses. I cut it off the hairpiece that had all the the crystals and stuff on it.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where that came from. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's cool, but it's also like creepy as all hell. That one's gonna keep me up tonight.
Awesome. Sorry, Chris. Well, it's the last one, so
yeah, the way to end on that one. Nice job. I need a palate cleanser. Do you have a palate cleanser for me, please?
Need something to get the nightmares out.
Yeah, give me a happy one. Do we have a sunshiny rainbowy one?
True facts about water pigs.
I don't even know what a water pig is. Is that a thing?
Look up true facts about water pigs and you'll find it. Yeah. Where's my
that doesn't sound like something I'm gonna enjoy. Sounds like your exploding duck thing.
There, how's that?
There we go.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
E Honda beating up a Lexus. Everybody loves it.
Actually, he's gotten a few upgrades. He's now got a hairpiece and
my.
Yeah, he's got a little
buddy.
Yeah, I gave him the Dark Knight Returns female Robin hairpiece. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He stays here next to my David Williams. You might appreciate this, John. There's my David.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've seen Mr. Williams with that corpse paint look many a time over the
years. Last I checked, there were not many headhunters left at Store Horseman. So if you guys want your headless or your headhunter to put your David Williams on, you better act fast because they were running out.
That's a cool figure.
13 left online.
Do I need another?
So headhunter, when they're gone, they're gone.
So something, I don't know if this was brought up by them or not. I happened upon it because I had every intention of taking that figure to make a Scareglow tribute.
Yeah.
And so I have this powder. It's this glow powder that is the glowiest glow powder in the world. It glows in daylight, like super glow.
Okay.
And you can mix it with a paint medium and apply it like a paint.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I'm just gonna get it, the headhunter, and I'm gonna paint that over all of the bones that are there so that they glow, so I could do my scare glow. And then lo and behold, the bones already glow.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. So yeah,
They do?
but super cool figure.
I don't remember that.
Do they glow or are they just black
They
light?
glow. Yeah, they
Oh,
glow.
really?
If you get them under light, it's not a super powerful glow, but they do glow. They're glowing.
There we go. So, folks, act now, because by the end of this show, it'll probably be gone. 13 left. Oh, 12 now. They are going fast. This is the end of the Headhunter. Great soft goods, great loin piece, awesome figure. And if you see David Williams and he's selling these heads, you can get your own David Williams to put on there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That definitely has like the when you with that head on there, it gives it that like Johnny from Karate Kid.
Totally.
But like the metal version. Yeah.
You know, I could totally see David Williams hanging out with Cobra Kai and just beating up Daniel. Like I don't know, just get that vibe.
I don't know, man. Knowing the guy as well as I do, and as long as I have, I don't know. He's a lover.
I mean, when you watch that back, Daniel's kind of a jerk. Like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like as a kid, you're like, these mean Cobra Kai guys. And then you watch as an adult and you're like, that Daniel's kind of an ass. Like, I probably would have tried to beat him up too.
That was one of the most genius things about the show Cobra Kai was just the retelling of that story in that way. And yeah it really like I don't know if you guys have watched Cobra Kai, but by the end of that kind of story arc, you're like, man, like, yeah, Daniel's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
That guy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and you know, I've had some conversations with David Williams, and you know, he's got some pet peeves. And one of them is he does not like when people listen to their phone in public, like if they've got it like the volume turned up. Mm-hmm. And he will just flat out take somebody's phone out of their hand and be like, no, you don't get to have a phone now.
And then he'll sweep the leg.
Yep. Totally sweep the leg for sure.
Yeah.
No, if he's doing a tattoo and there's somebody waiting and they're listening to their phone to where everybody else can hear it, watch out. He ain't playing.
He's a genuine sweetheart, man.
This is what he does to phones right here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys know this, but I can confirm, having known this man for 20 years, you will be hard pressed to find a sweeter, nicer person.
Unless you're listening to your phone, and then it's like that. The switch is flipped.
But he'll do it in the nicest way. Like, it's funny. He'll let you know how annoying you're being, but in the nicest way possible.
You'll feel bad that he had to get angry at you.
Yeah. Exactly. Out of all the times that somebody has taken my phone from me and broke it in half, it was the nicest one.
Right.
So, yeah.
You were like, you thanked him afterwards. You were like, thank you.
Yeah. You know what? Thank you for teaching me a lesson, because I shouldn't have been listening to it with the volume up. You're right. I should have had some earbuds in.
Right.
That's cool. So, anything that you've been, watching, or video games you're playing, or anything else that you're into right now?
You know, I'm weird. I don't play video games. I never.
I only play one, so you're you know, I'm only one ahead of you.
The only games I've ever been able to get into are fighting games, and I just don't have the time or the focus for it now. Yeah, like lately, shows I've been trying to watch Andor. I loved Andor season 1, and I'm super excited to actually watch season 2 eventually. I have to like get sick or something so I could just have a day where I sit in bed and watch TV so I can watch it all. That's about the only time I can do that.
If you can get 3 episodes in at a time.
Go ahead.
If you can get 3 episodes of Andor in at a time, season 2, they're like in little chapters. So like every 3 episodes is like an arc. So,
I think I just finished episode 3, so that makes perfect sense. But yeah, I the first season, I know like with Star Wars fans, it was a little polarizing, but I watched it and I just fell in love with that character and with that story. It's a real slow burn. Totally worth it though.
I'm starting to feel that way about like painting. Like I just have so little time that I'm like, man, I almost need to like get sick so that I can have some time to paint, you know?
Yeah, I had a really large commission that I spent the first part of the year working on, and I finally got it done. And so now it's kind of like, okay, I can start working on stuff for me again. And so I don't know, Jason Demon, the figure designer, he just put out a set on Instagram where it's like fish people, and they're super cool. So I picked up that file set and I just printed out the fish torsos. And I need to print out some weapons next. But that's what I have on my table right now.
Fish torsos, you say?
Dude, they are so cool. I'm really digging them.
You happen to have a picture of it that you can share?
I don't have a picture of my print.
I'll try to find it real quick.
Yeah, if you go to his Instagram, Jason Demon, it's on there.
It's similar to the build like the frog and the hedgehog body that Dirk did, like
exactly.
Where it's like the body with the arm sockets.
Yeah, and it's sort of stouter and like chunkier.
Yeah, I'll have it here.
Well, that's why I was asking, because I know Brian has done one, and so I'm just wondering how similar it is to that. Brian C.
Okay, yeah,
because we were doing.
I think it's very different.
This is the one I need to get. This one from Brian. This one from Brian just blows me away. But let me see if I can share this real quick. This is the one that Brian did, which is just like,
that's awesome.
I mean, Brian's brain. I don't know what trauma happened to him as a kid, but the way his brain works just blows me away. But like this thing is. I love this. So, all right, so let's take a look at this other one. Let me take this down, and then Jesse's got this one here. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So they're very
kind of like almost like Murloc-y from World of Warcraft.
But I want to draw specific attention to one of the weapons. If you scroll back or scroll to the weapons, there's a mace. And the head of the mace is a puffed up pufferfish.
Oh,
that right there. And I love
it.
It's so creative and so funny. And I was like,
what's the name of that fish that has the thing in front of it?
An anglerfish.
Yeah.
Which I tell you, what's funny is those things look terrifying. Yeah, this was the other big selling point. It's the Scorpio body. If you scroll over one more, yeah,
that's crazy.
Huge. Not articulated except for the tail is articulated, but still cool. But anglerfishes, so they look horrifying, right? Horrifying from the deep monster. Do you know how big they are?
What's that?
Have you ever seen an anglerfish? Like how big they are?
They're not.
No, I mean,
big,
they're like this big. They're tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, in Finding Nemo, they made it look to be huge.
Right? Horrifying, but they're not big at all. Yeah, but yeah, that's the body I'm working on right now.
Didn't they talk about it in Age of Ultron too? Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. What's his face? The dude that lost his arm.
Claw.
Yeah. Claw. That's right.
Because he's like, oh, what are you going to do? Show me something I'm afraid of?
Yeah, then he talks about
anglerfish.
Yeah, they're like, what?
The light, it goes.
I don't remember that, but it's hilarious. I love it.
It is.
It's when they go to it's when they go off somewhere off the coast of Africa, and he's in the like that warehouse, and the Avengers start to show up before the Avengers show up, when just
they're trying to
the
get that
twins are
medal,
there.
the Wakanda medal, which is
Vibranium.
Vibranium. Yeah.
That's like at the start of the movie with their like Somali pirates or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I remember that part. I don't remember that line though. That's great.
Yeah, he's talking about that, and then next thing you know, he tells them that clearly they're not in charge or whatever, and that's when Ultron shows up, and he gets mad when he basically calls him Tony Stark, and Ultron gets mad and chops his arm off. It's like, oh, did I?
And he's like,
he does that. Oh, did I do
so
that? I'm
sorry.
Yeah,
You're so fragile.
Man, who did the voice of Ultron? Was it James Spader? It's so perfect.
Dude, he did a great job.
So perfect.
So good.
And even in the What If series, the Ultron in that, so perfect. I love it.
Some of the one-liners in those earlier Marvel movies just got me when he says you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, and then Tony Stark's like, he beat me by 1 second. like he just like even Ultron has taken some of his wit. So let's see, what is Greg saying here? Late, but I made it. My ogre brother. We were kind of having a debate earlier on which one of you is taller, and he said you may cheat by kind of brushing that hair up a little bit. So we want a fair fight at Legion's Con in terms of height. And so, Greg, I think that means that you're going to have to shave your head before Legion's Con. It's the only fair way to do it.
And we're doing it barefoot, so he doesn't try to slip in some lifts.
There you go. Yeah, no lifts in the shoes or anything like that. So barefoot, bald, Legion's Con. It's on.
Yeah. Greg's my ogre brother from another ogre mother.
Yeah, winner gets to walk out with the name Ogre. Loser,
no. There's more than one ogre.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Greg goes by brute scale or formerly brute scale, ogre scale. Greg, he doesn't just go by ogre, so you can take the actual ogre name of it.
Greg, it's a beautiful head of hair, Greg. A beautiful head of hair, sir.
I wonder if that's why Billy's making those extensions for his legs now. I wonder if that's Greg trying to get the upper hand on you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you would say he's trying to get the leg up on you.
Oh, there you go.
Speaking of those great one-liners.
Yeah. But speaking of which, Billy Beige online, he's selling those leg extensions right now. So if you wanted to make your Baradak or Sir Uksak a little bit taller, hit up Billy Beige. He's selling those sets right now. I believe they're cheap. I think it's like $5 for a set and then $5 for shipping. So
nice.
Hit him up. So
there you go.
Awesome.
All right. And you said you will be at Legion's Con?
That's my plan, man. Like I said, wife, kids, mortgage, jobs, and all that. I've got my hotel reserved. Haven't bought a flight yet, but I'm like 95% of the way there. And in classic Legion's Con fashion, I'm working on something real big for it. So.
Well, I mean, you don't want to be sending something real big cross country. So instead of flying, just guys run a party bus. Get some of those Arizona boys. Get Thomas, David. Heck, have Joe G come over from Nevada and just go cross country in a party bus.
If I had the time off for it, I would totally do it. That'd be awesome. But,
that'd be great. We've talked about that in some of the chats and stuff about like how awesome it would be to just travel cross country to Legion's Con and stop at like different like members of the community's homes along the way.
Get on the bus.
Yeah.
Legion's bus. Get on.
Yeah.
It's like the Muppets movie, like the original one where they gather everybody up.
Govier's in Arizona too. I think you got enough folks in Arizona. Yeah, I mean, split a party bus and.
No, when I had to split it though, it's like a 3-day drive. So it's already barely able to eke the time out. So, but yeah, I'll just tease this a little bit. If you guys like my my spider stuff that I've worked on, the Maze Runner and the Crab Assault support bot. If you like that stuff and you want to see it bigger and maybe even fully articulated, keep an eye on this space.
Very nice. Very nice.
There we go.
So, and that'll be at the Carver Customs table.
I believe that is the plan. I think I saw Brian said I am at his table again, so he's a
he
gracious
said,
host.
what did he say? Like until you don't want to be or anything.
Pretty much.
As long as you're up for it, you've got a permanent spot at his table.
I'm very up for it. So it was again, it was my first like big con, and it was awesome. It's an awesome experience.
You know who doesn't have a permanent spot at Brian's table? Brian. Yeah, Stacy kicks him out. She controls the money. She tells him to go walk, shop, do whatever, like I got this under control.
And he's a lucky man to have her.
He absolutely is. Absolutely is. Very true. Awesome.
Very true.
Well, we appreciate you joining us. Anything else that you want to promote or talk about before we close out the show?
No, man. I think we hit it off. Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. 2 hours flew on by, man.
That's what we do. We just kind of shoot the shelf.
Shoot it. Oh, hey, he said the name of the show in the show.
That's it. That's it. All right. Well, we thank you so much for coming. It's been awesome. Yeah, folks, hit him up in the Cabal or on Facebook if you need any of those things. Otherwise, see him at Legions Con and pick up some cool stuff. I definitely know I want to get that. I don't know what did you call that? Where it's got like the electrodes coming out of for the cosmic.
Oh, yeah. I call that my beat boot robot.
Beat boot. I need one of those.
For sure.
And then I need one of the brains for the spider with the dome. So
heck yeah, man.
Yeah, I need both of those.
I call that one Klaus von Sweet.
Yeah, because Brian had your spiders, but at MesquiteCon, but he didn't have the brain.
Yeah, Brian's been cool enough to let me.
Well, he seemed back on a little bit. I mean,
stuff
I was like the first one at the table, and he didn't have the brain right from the get go. I'm like, come on, what are you doing?
Well, it works for us because there's on that bot there's little side ports. I don't think I mentioned it that come out, and you can put Charbot arms in. So
Trust me, he let everybody know.
Dude,
he let everybody know.
I think it was Jonathan.
He's like, by the way, you can also buy my Charbot stuff and put. Yeah.
But I think it was Jonathan Hughes posted a picture of it where he had like a Von Burke head on it, which is kind of like a cool bio cyber skull or something, painted up like scaphoid, of course, and then had the Charbot like buzzsaw arm and drill arm, and it just looks like this murderous little bot that just wants to chop you off at the ankles, and I love it. So great. So love seeing stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So, and don't forget, folks, the Charbot is GLiOS compatible as well. So
sure is, which means the Gravital support one is too.
There you go. Throw some arms into the sides of your spider thing. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna put you backstage. If you've got to run, we totally understand. If not, hang out, and we will be with you as soon as we close out the show.
Thank you guys very much. It's been fun.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Another fun show in the books.
Right. Totally. It's always fun getting to know new people a little better than just pictures online and stuff.
The best way to get to know people, though, is to drive cross country in a party bus. Just saying.
I mean, as long as you end up being compatible, that could be a real awkward trip.
I hate flying, right? But I would fly to the northern, what was that, the Pacific Northwest? Get together with Blake, aka Recon Rage, aka Star of OffWorld now. And start from the Pacific Northwest and just travel. We'll go down, pick up Joe, hit Arizona, pick up all the Arizona boys, and then start heading on east. I think that would be cool. I would definitely do that. And then as we're coming through Missouri, then I would, pick up Darla and we'd go from there. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it would be all
Well,
fun and
and
games
next
until we
week-
hit the turnpike. And then, yeah, turnpike.
Yeah. Well, next week,
Mm.
you don't have to drive. Well, I don't have to drive on the turnpike. But next week, Wolf King Customs will be at the Maryland Toy Expo. Tickets are on sale now. Next Saturday, 8 to 5. 8 a.m. is the early bird. I think 9 is the regular entry. Maybe it was 10. I don't remember. Go check the website, Maryland Toy Expo. And we'll be there with the street team selling Mythic Legions and the regular Wolf King. Whoops.
I heard
booth will be
there's a little chance to win a slog test shot.
Yes, there is a slog test shot being given away. I believe by I just blanked on his name. The guy that runs the show.
Don't know.
Andy?
Sure.
I think it's Andy.
Sure.
It's Andy.
I know it's
think
going to be at the Wolf King booth.
Yes, it'll be there. There's check out the Wolf King pages in the Cabal, and I believe it posted to Instagram as well for details on how to get your entries and everything. I'm not gonna say them now because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, I know Hedgehog was talking about him yesterday, and there's a certain, like, if you spend a certain amount of money, that gets you one. There was a couple other ways. One of them was if you show up in a really cool like costume. That was one of the ones, and you would get a raffle ticket for it. So yes. I told PGG this last night, but this is just me and you now. We don't have John on the screen. We don't have, whatever. So my idea, Jesse, is that you show up at the Maryland Toy Show. You're going to be there anyway, right? And then you just walk up and you say, "Hey, I'm Curtis, dressed up as Jesse," right? And they're going to be like, "Wow, that's a really cool costume because you look just like Jesse. Like, we would think that you really were Jesse." And you'll be like, "No, but I'm Curtis." And they're like, "Wow, that's a great costume. Here's a raffle ticket." Boom. What do you think?
I mean, considering it's the table I'll be running, I don't think I'll be able to get away with that.
Do they have any like phone booths that you can like spin around like Superman and then come out?
I don't spin around very well.
Oh, all right. No,
but good. Thanks for thinking of me, though.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Someone else could try that, though.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, hey, okay. Put us back on. Let's, here we go. Hey, everybody watching, if you want a raffle ticket at the Wolf King booth, go up and say that you're me dressed up as you.
It's only going to work for like the first person that does that, right?
Unless they say that I went through costume changes. Right? Like all of a sudden I dressed up as like 50 different people.
But one after the other?
Yeah. Hey, folks, don't show up at the same time, both saying you're me. Like that won't work.
Okay.
You gotta take turns. So but yeah, go to Maryland. Should be a fun time. Great show. Chance to win a slog. See Jesse. I'm guessing the whole crew is going to be there. Jesse, Lynn, Patrick, all those folks.
I believe Nate, Nate Armstrong, Patrick Boyle, myself, Len will be running the street team table with the horseman stuff. With I believe Cookie and Joe are coming. I don't want to. I mean, I've seen that in the comments and in the flyer, so I believe that is the plan.
Gweisel is reminding you to make sure you stay at the table, which is a good call out because sometimes he does leave. G, are you going to Maryland Toy Show?
I don't think so.
Let us know in the chat. So,
and I believe Purple Gang is going to be there in assistance or conjunction participation semi. Lavender.
Because I heard that the Echevarias are getting you a cake, is what I've heard.
Right.
Yeah. To make up for the past cake scenario.
Speaking of cake scenarios, next weekend, join us for our guest, William Wallace Harris, Dub3, aka Lacerda Photo, will be joining us right here next Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for episode 423, season 4, 20, whatever, numbers, math. I'm done. Thank you.
That's what, like 153 or 54 episodes or something?
153.
Wow, that's a lot. Tomorrow night, Legion's Lounge, which started before us, is celebrating their 100th episode.
That's still pretty good because they only go roughly every other week. So I mean, to be at 100,
yeah, I mean, for those old
every
guys
week
to even somewhat keep up with
no.
our pace is pretty dang good. So yeah,
isn't only one of them like 10 minutes older than you?
No, I don't know. I don't know how old Bill is, but the other two are like really old. But yeah, tune in for Legion's Lounge tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be a bunch of people jumping in on screen and telling them congratulations and all that kind of good stuff. G says the cake will be there soon. So, yep. We would, G, when you give him that cake, we would love to have some video of him motorboating that cake. Would be great. Thank you.
Well, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. Whether you're watching it live or on the replay, we really appreciate you being here. Make sure you tune in next week. And until next time.
What's on your shelf?